My name is Jacqueline. I'm the executive director of a small nonprofit that works in the animal protection industry, and I would give Adobe Spark probably a 4 out of 5 rating. Prior to Adobe Spark, I had started out using Canva, and I'm not a graphic designer, but the nature of working at a tiny nonprofit as the executive director means that I do lots of things that I'm not really qualified for. So I had been using the free version and then ultimately the paid version of Canva online because it had such a simple user interface. And as I got more confident with graphic designing over several years, I wanted to be able to do more than Canva allowed. And so I subscribed for our nonprofit to the Adobe Creative Suite, which includes Adobe Spark. And I use a combination of the other Adobe Creative Suite products as well as Spark. But I really like Spark because it keeps that simple, straightforward user interface that I really appreciated in Canva. But at the same time, it allows for more precise choosing of what to do with graphics than Canva allowed. I chose Adobe Spark somewhat unintentionally because it came with the Adobe Creative Suite package. And I had started out initially using only Adobe Illustrator once downloading the Creative Suite. And Illustrator, if you've ever used it, is for professional graphic designers, and there is nothing simple about it. And I've grown to love it and all of the really, really cool things that it can do. But it's certainly not something that I can ask a volunteer to create simple social media graphics on, and it's not something that I would use to quickly create media graphics. So I stumbled upon Adobe Spark when going through the Creative Suite package and started playing around with it and switched to using Spark for Facebook, Instagram, YouTube video covers, all of my media images, because, as I mentioned, it's straightforward, but allows more of the detail in design that Adobe is so well known for. Getting started with Spark was pretty straightforward. One of the things that I had trouble with was whether or not to pin images to the background, and the Adobe Spark offers templates that are really fun, and then you can change the design, and then you can use Adobe Spark color schemes. So if, like me, you are not a designer and are not the best at matching colors, Adobe tends to do that for you. And you can upload your logo and then ask Adobe Spark to create color schemes within the theme of or the color theme of your logo. So that was really helpful for consistent branding. The thing that I had trouble with is within those templates, whether or not you could pin images to the background or if they could move or not. Essentially a feature that I just didn't quite know how to use. So with that little hiccup that took me maybe 10 or 15 tries of being frustrated and trying to change images and resize them to be perfect, I discovered that you could unpin things from the background and it worked. So it was pretty simple to get to use, to get to know, with a couple minor hiccups that were fairly easily solvable the more I played around with the platform. I would really vouch for Adobe Spark for anybody that wants to be able to put together sharp graphics pretty quickly, who wants to be able to delegate the graphics tasks to somebody else in your company that does not necessarily have graphic design experience, but who is willing to learn a fairly simple user interface. So I would recommend Spark to probably everybody except for the truly professional graphic designer. I think true graphic designers are better off sticking with the rest of the Adobe Creative Suite package, like Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop. But for anybody other than a truly professional graphic designer, I think Spark is the ideal platform.